Yeah, hello, good evening. Good evening. So we are starting right away. I don't think I'm being paid for my time, and this is a free offer. So definitely, I expect people to come earlier than this, not me. I think when money is attached to something, people want no value for their money. So definitely, they will come earlier. Please, if you can hear me, just drop a comment in the comment section. So that's to tell me that I am talking and you can hear me because I'm going straight to the teaching of today. I need you to just engage with me by going to the comment section and write something for me to know that you are here with me. Write something in the comment section. Let me know you can hear me. But can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I know that there are about 5 persons here, and I want to be sure that you can hear me. Can you hear me? Or let me hear myself. If I can hear myself, then I will continue. Can you hear me? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Governor. Thank you for coming on time. The comment is switched on, please. The comment is on. The comment is on. The comment is on. The comment is on, so you can. So I'm going straight because I have less than 30 minutes. You all have my time. My time. So I have less than 30 minutes. So next time I'm going to be doing this, I'm not going to be doing it free. Time matters to me. Okay, so let's go straight into the topic for today. Today is just like I'm doing what we call phonics refresher course, and I'll just take us on phonics. And so these are we need to. You would also be interacting with me, in the comment section, and letting me know how you are blending alongside with what I am teaching. So phonics, I've heard the complaints of many of us talking about our children can't read and all of that and everything. Comprehension is a problem. I just had to say, okay, no problem. Let me bring one of my materials. I didn't actually do a new material. So I just, looked for one of my materials to say, okay, this is one of the materials I've used in training teachers when they need to, when they want to learn phonics. So going straight into it, let's go to, this is me. My name is Samuel Efre, and people call me Tom Phonics. People call me Tom Phonics, so you can as well call me Tom Phonics. Okay, so my name is Samuel Tom Efre. My other name is Tom, and this is my face. So I am not a scam. This is my face. So you can look for Tom Phonics anywhere on social media, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube. You're still going to come straight to me, Tom Phonics. So Tom Phonics is a brand, and I am privileged to be the lead trainer at Tom Phonics Academy Global. Okay, now um, my brand name is Tom Phonics, but my organization is called Tom Phonics Academy. So you can hear phonics, you know, in Twitter into it. So it's Tom Phonics. So going straight up to our discussion for today. Okay, so let's look at. We're going to be discussing why phonics. I'm not going to be taking all of this. From why phonics, we jump to the process, then we move on to the beginning, the rules, and reading and spelling. I'm just going to just go through, rush all of them. So, what is phonics? Phonics is the method, like I said last week, and some of you were in the group, and I'm sure some of you actually read, were in the class when we talked about what is phonics. So phonics is the method of teaching. There are other school of thoughts that said phonics is one of the method, and I agree with them because phonics is just one of the method of teaching beginners, early readers, how to read and pronounce words by learning the phonetic value of letters. Okay, so if a child or a learner is having issues in reading, a learner is having issues, or a beginner or someone that wants to learn how to read, so the first is introducing that child to phonics. In fact, it's not really phonics, but phonics is actually the general word to use in teaching a beginner. The first thing is actually called phonemic awareness. So what is phonemic awareness? Phonemic awareness is the ability to hear, identify, and manipulate sounds. It's not here. Now that's to say, if I say ah, boo, goo, now these are actually English sounds I am saying. So the ability the ability for a child to, when you say ah, and the child responds by saying ah, or when a learner gets to hear, please forgive me, I say child a lot because we are teaching children now, or a learner gets to hear the sound of the car, vroom, 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 vroom. Now you get to ask the learner, what did you hear? And the learner says, I can hear. So what letter is that? Maybe that's the sound for letter V. And the learner says letter V. Now that is phonemic awareness, ongoing, because the child was able to hear, and the child was able to identify, and the child was able to manipulate the sound and be able to replicate the sound with a letter. Okay, if I'm making sense, please type something, so that well, I know I talk a lot, and I know I talk and I'm making sense, but I just want you to interact with me and let me know that you are here with me. So now the examples I just gave, I said when a learner gets to hear vroom vroom vroom, the sound of a car, and you get to hear ask the learner, okay, what sound did you hear? And the learner says, I heard vroom vroom. And you know how to, like, okay, fine. Now, what is the say? What letter is saying vroom vroom vroom? Then you're like, okay, that is the letter V is saying vroom vroom vroom. Then you're like, very good. Now that learner has been able to manipulate sound. That learner has been able to identify. That learner has been able to hear that sound, and the learner is able to wow, so I can actually hear. Now that's phonemic awareness. So that's why when we want to start teaching children, you don't just go straight to letter A says ah, letter A says letter B says B. You don't go into that. The first thing you need to do is just you need to warm up the child or the learner into assimilating or getting to hear identify sounds around. And I don't know about your curriculum, I don't know about your scheme or your syllabus. Other people call it syllabus, others they call it curriculum. But whatever it is, you should understand what I'm saying. Curriculum or syllabus. Now, the first thing in teaching literacy, reading and writing, is the ability for them to identify. And that's why you get to teach the sound of animal, you get to teach the sound of people, you get to sing rhymes. Now you are preparing them for phonics. Are you following? You are preparing that baby or that toddler for phonics. So when you're saying the sound of a snake says "sss," or the sound of a dog is what? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Remember, when babies are growing, their environment they'll start getting used to the environment. So they get to imitate things within the environment. Now, it's within the environment you start chipping or getting things before you introduce them to phonics. So there's a dog on the street where the child is living, and you're like, okay, what sound does the dog make? Whoa, whoa, whoa. The child is able to replicate. That means you're opening the senses. You're opening the auditory level. You're opening the vocal level, and you're opening the visual level for the child to get to, be prepared for phonics. So is the method, and the fastest, the effective, and the easiest method for teaching reading and writing is phonics. So the first thing they'll also get to learn the phonetic value of letters, which is the invisible, and bringing it to the visible. I actually reiterated it last week. And letter groups were consonant, blend, and digraph. These are letter groups, and especially syllables. So when we say a word like table, or we say a word like Botswana, so those are their syllabic words in that word. Yeah, syllabic division in that word. So Botswana has 3 syllables by English language. Or I don't know about your language, but in English language, Botswana, it has 3 syllables. So they just don't know, or get to hear or know the sounds and letters. They also get to know letter groups. They also get to know syllables. They also get to know phonological awareness. They also get to know auditory tasks and everything associated with sounds of the English language. Now, many stop at the 25 letter sound. Letter A says eh, letter B says B, letter C says Z, and letter Z says Z. Many will just stop there and they give themselves a clap. Yeah, I've tried. It's a lie. Now, you see that 25 letter sound, it's just for a while. It's just for a while, because the bulk of the whole thing is not letter A says it's how to apply it in their reading, how to make it worthwhile, how to make how do I put it? How to teach them, how they are able to look at the book and read what is there. That's actually the joy of phonics. That's the joy of phonics. So now the goal of phonics is to enable beginning readers to decode new written words by sounding them out, or in phonics term, blending the sound spelling pattern. So our time is fast spent, so let's just go straight up into more of the discussion for today. So we're going to look at the process. Let's look at the process of phonics. I want to use that to answer a question. Now, this is the process of phonics. So I'm trying to use this to answer a question that you all actually, when I asked what is the challenge in Botswana in your school, when and many people talked about comprehension. Now, can you see that this is a stage? So I think if I'm able to talk more about this, then that means I have made a point this evening. Okay, now listen. The process for a child to learn how to read is by this: decoding, fluency, and comprehension. I'm going to take it again. For a child, a learner, to be able to read effectively, then these 3 processes must go hand in hand: decoding, fluency, and comprehension. Okay, number 1, in decoding, the beginner must be able to look at print text and be able to apply the invisible, which is the sound, to that text. So I was actually making a flashcard for my baby. And I also make flashcards and sell in case you want to buy. I hope this is not going to be reversed. Is it reverse? Okay, good. It's not reverse. So now look at this. In decoding, a beginner should be able to see this and say P, recognizing that this is a letter and this letter can make a sound. So if the beginner can recognize that this is a letter and identify to say this letter makes a sound P, and is able to blend P to make a word like P and A, pa, then that beginner has passed this level, which is decoding. You don't have a problem with that. Then the next level is fluency. Now, follow me. A beginner must be able to recognize, number one, quickly identify, quickly blend. Now, all these happen in split seconds. Oh, what sound is this? Maybe showing a flashcard. What sound is this? And the beginner says, ah, very good. The beginner will be able to recognize, identify, and okay, ah and together you have what? The first stage has been done. Then the next stage is fluency. Now, fluency talks about speed and accuracy. So how fast can the learner blend 2-letter sounds? How fast can the learner blend 3-letter sounds? How fast can the learner say sight words? The hen is on the mat. The hen is on the mat. Now, if the learner is able to say the hen is on the mat in less than 5 seconds, then you have achieved level 2. Because, listen, it's a brain work. Now, when children are taking time in decoding, then they won't be able to comprehend. So this is not about literacy. Excuse me, please. Now, this is not about literacy. Now, this is more about English language to other words. English language to other words. Okay, so if a child gets to learn decoding faster, and in fluency, a child is reading 5 words in a sentence in less than 3 seconds, then the child won't be thinking of decoding. The child is going to be thinking of comprehending. Am I making sense? Let me give you the practical aspect of it. Okay, now the hen is on the mat. Does it make sense? Okay, let's use that. The hen is on the mat. The THE is a sight word. It's not phonics. Okay, sight words. The THE, the. Hen, you can blend hen. So you have hen. So if a child now says the, hen, or the child is still struggling to say hen, the child is now taking time to blend hen together. The child has actually forgotten the article the. So you now tell the child to start all over again. The hen is on. Something that would have taken less than 2-3 seconds to say. You are now spending time almost close to 2 minutes. By the time the learner gets to the end of the sentence, the last word, the learner has forgotten the first 3 words. So the learner will have to start all over from the beginning. Now, this is what you're doing. You have stressed yourself, you have stressed the learner, and you are also adding, how do you call the idiom? Is this sort on injury or whatever, whatever. Now, you are now making it worse, and the child won't be able to remember. Wait, what is on the mat? The hen, right? Okay, let me go back and read the hen. Did that just make sense to you? Or did this explanation I gave? So now you should ask me now. So, Tom, what do we do? What you need to do is follow the process. Follow the process. If every one of you is complaining of my children, my learners don't comprehend, it's because your learners cannot decode words faster, and your learners are having issues with fluency. Now you can see the stuff associated with fluency, blending letters and syllables, spelling, simple sentences and reading, recognition and identification. So these are the stuff that your learners should be able to get. Now, by the time your learners are good with reading and fluency, then you shouldn't bother on a child not knowing how to read or a child not knowing how to spell. So the next one is let's move on to um let's look at teaching phonics. I'm going to rush this briefly. I have less than 5 minutes, so you can ask a question. Now, in teaching phonics, the first thing you need to do is teach the short sounds. And this is what I usually do. That's why when you saw the flashcard I showed you, you could see that they were all in triangles. So I had to just cut my cards into triangles, okay, and put the letters inside. So I get to say, okay, letter A says A, letter E says E, letter I says A, letter O says O, and letter U says Ah. Okay, so by the time I'm done creating this, the first thing I teach in an African school is teach the sound first. Don't teach the names of the letters. I'm going to say it again. Teach the sounds first. Don't teach A, B, C. We have issues with sounds. We don't have issues with names of letters. A child growing up can comfortably say his or her name, but they can't really pronounce the sound of another language. So that your area of concentration should be on breaking this your L1. Your L2 should be sweet when you pronounce them. So like I said, I have less than 5 minutes, so prepare your questions. Prepare your questions. Okay, so by the time we're done, you move on to whenever you want to start teaching the short sound, always say the phrase, what sound is this? They will say k. Letter A says eh. Letter C says k. Letter T says t. Remember, this is just like a session, like a beginner session. But if you are in the court, or if you would like to be in a court where you need to be trained, now you would get the tips and tricks on how to teach this. So I'm just giving you a general stuff. So k, a, t, k, a, t, cat. K. Now you want to tell me, okay, Tom, these things are just, is it not acting? Now it's a skill. You must have the skill. They must be able to acquire some skills in teaching this or in learning this. You as the teacher should be able to teach them the skill on how they need to read from left to right, how they need to look from up top to bottom, and getting to know some words like initial, middle, and final. Am I communicating? Okay, so they get to know the meaning of initial, or some people don't call it initials. Some will say beginning. They get to know the middle. Some say middle, or yeah, center, and they get to know the final. So some will go ending. So all these are skills they need to play, and it doesn't just boom, 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 boom. You don't do it very fast. You take your time. Sometimes it can take up to a month for them to acquire that skills. They are children. They are beginners. You are trying to break the environmental decoding L1 language. So in order for you to imbibe or bring the L2 upon the L1, so it's going to take time. It's going to take time. So when they are able to say k, ati, now that is the beginning. That is the beginning for other words, for other blending of words. So by the time we are done with this, then I think, okay, now this is the long sounds. Now the trick I used to make is I make the long sounds in form of a square. So the short sounds are triangle. Remember, triangle for short sounds, then square for long sounds. So this is no longer a, this is a, and this is e, this is I, this is o, and this is u. So by the time I'm done laminating, I get to show them this. Now this is I get to introduce this um when the clock 4. Mind you, I don't teach this to 3, 2. I teach this to 4. And I encourage teachers to teach this from 4 years old. Because that's the beginning of reading. But in 3 years old, it's the beginning of the blending era and all of that. So these are the names of sound. There are chants, there are tips, there are tricks. We really don't have time to do all of that today. Okay, maybe as time goes on, we'll talk more about teaching the long sound, teaching the short sound, teaching the beginners how to read, teaching them how to decode, teaching them how to be fluent, and teaching them how to comprehend. These things are in steps, are in processes, are in levels, and you must follow. If you jump from level 1 to level 10, you will miss it. You will definitely miss it. So you need to take your time. Don't be in a hurry to say you want children to learn how to read. That is the mistake most people make. Don't be in a hurry. Take your time. And mind you, the learners too have their own pace too. But be sure that you are doing the right thing, which is you are teaching them the right thing. Yes, because if you're sure that you are teaching the right thing at their level, don't worry. They are just storing up all the things you're teaching. And the time they will explode, you will be shocked. Okay? So after teaching the long sounds, we move short sound, we move on to the long sound. Now, by the time they because they've acquired the skills of short sounds, their long sounds will actually be a problem to them, and reading will not be a problem to them. So, in summary, let me give you. If you're writing this, it's not in my slide. Take note. I've actually talked about the process of a child knowing how to read and comprehend. Right now, let me tell you the process, the levels of teaching phonics. Number one, they need to learn the sounds at Z. I know some of you have a program, Jolly Phonics, Zoo Phonics, All Phonics, and all of that, but those are not African country. You are my brothers, you are my sisters in Africa, and we are all black, so we are not white. Do you understand? So definitely, I'm going to tell you what works for us, because in order for you to kill your L1, you must bring your L1 to play with your L2. That is, in order for you to go global, the local content must be able to come to play. In fact, the local content is actually the first thing before the global content. So you need to do the at Z first. Let the child, your learners or your student get to sing. Letter A says letter B says b, letter C says k, letter D says d, letter E says letter F says f. And when you're teaching this, please teach it with rhymes and teach it with actions. I call them body language. In my own, I say letter A says letter B says b, letter C says k, letter D says d, point to the door, and letter E says touch my waist, letter F says and letter G says g, as in gun, and letter H says letter I says A, and letter J says J, as in jump, and letter K says k, letter L says and letter M says Okay, now these are the actions, like, because, and if they get to forget the sound, they mustn't forget the action. So either the action will get them to remember the sound, or the sound will make them remember the action. Do you understand? So by the time they are good and they can recognize, identify the sounds and letter. Then the next thing is blending. After blending, yeah, you start with no nonsense word, two letter sounds. A, l, l, a, 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 and all of that. If you really want to get this very quickly and be certified phonics, yeah, you really need to, because you're going to be teaching you one after the other. Okay, you won't be in a rush. So no nonsense word. Now, from no nonsense word, you move on to familiar words, pre words. They call pre words. Pre words are part of a word, or actually the main word. So by the time they learn the pre word, then this time around they've not started reading. Now this is the foundation. If the foundation is not strong, you will have problem in standard 1, standard 2, standard 3, standard 4. So take your time. It takes 5 years for their foundation to be strong. And in that 5 years, you should do everything and anything to their brain. And children within the ages of 1 to 5, they have a brain of remodeling, garbage in, garbage out. And you can decide. And when they clock 5, what has been garbage in will stick. So you take your time to try strategies, put in more techniques, and so after blending, then you move on to the introduction of reading, and that is 4 to 5. And from there, you're teaching the older kids phonetics, okay? And that has to do with more syllables, affixes, singular and plurals, and rules of phonics, okay? But don't bring rules of phonics to lower standard and those in the preschool. You don't do that. Thank you very much. If you have a question, please, you can actually drop in the comment group. And for those that have joined us, thank you very much. Thank you. I really don't take this for granted. Each time I'm given the opportunity to teach, if you can see, uh, I am still at work and in my office. So I get to be here to make sure that I live up to this. So now, if you want to, for those of us here, now this is me full. Now I'm just here so that I can actually attend to your question. You can ask question on the. Now I actually do a 12 weeks, a 6 weeks rather, a 6 week phonics certification course on phonics, and you get to learn everything. You get the certificate. Now this is I usually do that in Nigeria, which is my country. But if you really want to learn this and be certified, please reach out to Mr. Gabana. He's in the group. Reach out to him and he will get onto me. Yeah, reach out to him and he will get onto me. Actually, getting to learn this and be certified in 6 weeks is $50. Yeah, I actually charge in dollars, so it's $50, and it's very cheap in Nigeria by that rate. By that rate, because you are joining this class, I'm going to give you as $50. It's supposed to be $150. So if you want to get it and we're going to be having this 3 times in a week, 1 hour practical life classes and all of that. Then at the end of 6 weeks, you're a guru and you can start a consulting firm in Botswana. That I can promise you. And yes, there's refunds if you are not getting it. That's actually cool. So I would have said I'm going to drop the lessons in the group, but I'm not going to drop it in the group. For those of you that are in this class, please chat with me privately to get them. This is just like for those people, simple instruction. You all took your time to be here, and some other person just, they are playing with it. So take your time, just chat with me to get the slide of what we just learned today. So thank you very much for your time here. And we're going to do this some other day. We're going to do this some other day. And Mr. Cabana, please reach out to those that would want to learn privately. And I would definitely be here and we'll just do a syllabus on how to run around it. So thank you very much. And thank you for your time. Do have a great evening. Bye.